This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories, and welcome to the 32nd and final week of the Arrowverse 2021 to 2022 weekly reviews. I will be going over the season finales to both The Flash and Superman and Lois. If you have not watched these yet, please click off the video if you don't want it to be spoiled, but I'm just going to go right into it. Superman and Lois had a good but controversial finale for one decision, and with that, we learned that it is not taking place on the Arrowverse timeline and is a completely different universe for Superman and Lois. As I mentioned in my video from yesterday, I'm going to make a separate video talking about this. I don't want to discuss it all here because I don't want to be wasting too much time on repeating it in another video, because I feel like it's better just to talk about this in its own video. I'm going to wait a few days so I'm not spoiling it for anyone. It'll probably be out next Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, looking at this, it was really interesting. We have the final defeat of the Parasite, or Allie Alston, as we know her for the rest of the season. And that was a good fight. We see Superman thrown into the sun, and that powers him up so we could defeat her. We also get a great evolution of the relationship between Tal-Rho and Superman, and see that they have become true brothers, and they do care for each other and will defend each other. It's some really nice moments between them. We also see that Jordan has gone and got a lot better grip on his powers. I was able to save Tal-Rho from being killed. And one thing I'd say with this episode is I think it could have been better if someone died, because I feel like everyone was in near-death scenarios, but just barely managed to make it out. I think that was interesting. And just looking at everything else, I think it was cool to have some of the stuff we did get. We had some interesting things that happened during the show, including the fact that we got to see John Diggle return once again. And although this is not the same version of Diggle, it is cool, and we're setting up Intergang for the next season. And as I said in my previous video, I think Darkseid may be coming. I'll hopefully put the link to that video on the top corner. Yeah, I think that'll be interesting if that does happen. It really depends on if they have the budget to do it. And if they do, and WB says okay, then we could have a crazy season's finale next year where they ultimately do fight Darkseid. But yeah, with the rest of this season, and this finale specifically, we have some great stuff with just relationships and being fixed and seeing where they stand. I really respect them for keeping Kyle and Lana split up, because when I was watching it, I felt like it'd be extremely cheap just to have them get back together like nothing happened for next season, and I think they handled it really well here, and it was definitely interesting to see that they didn't go with the typical way most shows would go with that storyline. We do get a resolution between the relationship with Jordan and Sarah, and see that they have mainly fixed things. Now that she knows the truth, she understands why he was keeping secrets, and that worked well. And yeah, I think that was handled well. And just looking at everything else, I really just did enjoy this finale. I think they did a good job. And the stuff with it not being the Arrowverse is interesting. As I said, I will talk about that in a future video. And just looking at everything else, I don't have too much more to say about this episode specifically. I really did enjoy it. And so far, I've enjoyed Superman and Lois overall, and don't think there's been really been a bad episode. But yeah, I'm gonna move on now to the new episode of The Flash, which I literally, as the time of recording this, just finished watching. And yeah, honestly, I enjoyed the episode overall. There's a few things that I'm still just trying to wrap my head around with how crazy the ending to the season was. But yeah, the big thing of this is it seems that Thawne has finally been permanently killed. I'm not sure if we will see another version of him return. And if he does, I think we'll only see the past version of him who is there just to preserve the timeline going the way it should go. So we could see him next season or in the season after that if it does happen, and I think that is extremely likely since we will be close to 200 episodes by that point. We are currently, I believe, at episode 171 since episode 151 was the end of last season and there was 20 episodes this season. And yeah, with that, looking at everything, it will be obvious how we will be at episode 187 if the rumor of a 16 episode season is correct. And with that, they would only have a 13 episode final season, which seems reasonable since that's about how long Arrow's final season was. And that's at the maximum because they may have another 20 episodes in the next season, which will give us even less episodes in the final season. So I feel like there's a good chance of it. And just going back to this one, I think it was a good episode overall. There were some odd parts, and didn't care too much about Cecile's whole leveling up thing, and I don't really get how she has telekinetic abilities, since she originally had telepathic ones. One of the parts I love is the final fight between Barry and Thawne and how destructive it is. And it seems that all the deaths he caused are permanent. So yeah, he went out with a bang, besides the few that were reversed when Barry somehow used the other forces to reverse the final attack of Thawne. And with that, I think it was really interesting to see how Thawne was defeated and just permanently erased from the timeline. Although, as I said, I think there's one version still out there, one to keep his timeline alive, at least up to the point where he dies in The Flash Season 1. Since if he does not exist, then The Flash doesn't exist, and that creates a paradox. So, we will probably be seeing that Thawne as him for the next two seasons, since in 2024 is when the Flash time travels back to the events of Season 1, so that Thawne should be showing up soon. He probably should have already shown up since we know that Barry and Thawne had a massive rivalry, and I don't think this would have been built up over 2 years. Although it is odd that it was only 4 years at the most in the original timeline, since Barry originally became the Flash in the year 2020. Yeah, that is interesting still, and honestly, I really do want to see where they're going to be going. It seems like we might have the return of Frost, although Killer Frost may be coming back, I'm not 100% sure. And they said it was supposed to be a lot more clear, and I don't really feel like it was. But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in the next season. I think this season's been really good overall, and I want to know what you think. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.